Love your calls on this now. Have we gone too far with the England flags? 020 7862 2222. Tell us what you think. English Heritage are checking the iconic Westbury White Horse in Wiltshire. There it is, for damage. Because there's red fabric pinned across it to form a St George's Cross. They're worried about the possibility of the landmark, which could date back to the 17th century, being damaged. There's some pegs in there, apparently, into the ground. So a fabric cross also appeared yesterday on the Kilburn White Horse in North Yorkshire. That's a smaller cross in the middle of the horse. That dates back to 1857. Forestry England said it was assessing the impact to the site and working with police to find out who did it. It's not known for sure why the fabric was put there, but we can have a guess because, of course, there's national flags popping up everywhere. Some people say it's divisive. What do you think, Jake?
So I support it. I think people can go too far, but I think however this started, it's been embraced by the British people. I was saying, I drove at the motorway to Birmingham at the weekend to go to Reform Conference. I then drove somewhere else, to Hereford. And nearly every single motorway bridge has got one of these flags hanging from it. I think that speaks to the British public, the silent majority, in a quiet way, going out there wanting to show their support. But I do think it speaks also to their political frustration. But, frankly, it's far better to put a fabric flag on a motorway bridge or on a white horse like that than the sort of appalling scenes that we saw with the rioting last year. I think it probably speaks to the same anxiety. This is a good, peaceful protest. People saying, look, no one is listening.
Yeah, it is. It's not divisive then, Jemma.
I think it's starting to be divisive. I mean, so you describe yourself as a patriotic person, as would I. But within that, as a British person, do you include, does your patriotic feeling extend to people who have brown skin and black skin?
Yeah, 100%.
British born.
100%.
Well, racism is on the rise, and there is a correlation between this constant anti-migrant rhetoric and these sort of flags all over the place. Sadly, it has been reported that racist events are happening in schools, that is on the rise. So unfortunately, whilst, yes, there are millions of people...
So you think the flags are the cause of this rise in racism?
I think that the movement to put the flag up correlates with the migrant situation and the people's feelings about migrants being put up in hotels and so on and so forth. Within that, there are many, many people who have very, very understandable concerns. However, it has been hijacked and it is being encouraged by far-right movements. That's just factual. That has been reported.
Can I show you some images?
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
Sprayed on the wall, I have seen things like white power. That is when you're not being patriotic, you are being racist. And there is no two ways about it.
Let's just have
a lot of those were when England were playing football.
Correct.
At which point, completely appropriate, as it is if you're at the proms or it's the Jubilee or you're having a fete. And there are loads of moments where it's really lovely to have the flags around. Where this is spilling over into, just people being able to sort of be emboldened and to abuse people. I've seen news reports where sort of so-called patriots have just been lurching about. And there was one young man saying that actually he felt fine in this area, that he lived safely. They aggressively chased him across the verge.
I felt very angry about
calling him X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where we need to take the heat out of it. And I believe that whipping it up at the moment is dangerous for people. And I also know people of colour who are feeling pretty frightened right now. And I totally fundamentally disagree with that.
Rebecca's in Derbyshire. Hello, Rebecca.
Hiya, you're right.
Are you happy with us putting flags everywhere?
Let me start by saying I'm mixed race. So one set of my grandparents were from Jamaica. And I've always been really patriotic. I've always sort of put flags up when it's, football and stuff, when England are playing. But yeah, at the moment, there's the mass majority of people who look like me who are feeling really threatened, actually. And at the moment, I feel like me and my husband have actually spoken about moving away, like getting out of the country, just because it's so whipped up and it's been so weaponised. And the guy was talking about this. Oh, yeah, I think it stands for the silent majority.
It's something going on here, because I was at a wedding 6 months ago of a very good friend, and he got married abroad. And while I was at the wedding, I sat next to a guy who was a German doctor, and like you, Rebecca, mixed race. And I said, how are things in Germany? He said, it's so bad, we're going to leave, and I'm going to be a doctor in Dubai. because he felt
Yeah,
threatened.
that's where we're looking at going.
Really? That's where... Gosh. Well, how does reform stop Rebecca leaving, Jake?
Well, look, we don't want anyone to leave, but I think there is genuine... Look, I'm really sorry that Rebecca feels like that. I don't think that is the intention of the campaign. It's certainly not the spirit that I believe it's meant in, and I hope she won't leave, obviously. But, you know, this speaks to people's frustration about successive governments, including the Conservative government, which I was a member of, their absolute failure to get a grip on migration. I think, you know, whatever we say, people say it's about all sorts of things. My view is largely about migration. And how do we stop this is we get a grip on that very, very important issue. Whatever, you know, whoever gets a grip on it, that time will tell, but we've got to get a grip on it.
OK. Heather in Hampshire, hi. Is there anything wrong, Heather, with hanging lots of flags up?
Hi, Jamie.
Hey.
Hi, panel. Yeah, I've got my flag out and I'm proud of it. My family are all military. We've served in the army for more years than I can remember, right back to the Battle of the Somme. And, yeah, I'm proud to have the flag up. I'm proud to see it everywhere.
Describe it. You've got, what, one flag at the front of your house or what? Heather, where is your flag?
No, I live in a council house. So I'm waiting on the council sending me a letter to take it down. But yeah, I've got my flag out the window and I'm proud to fly it. I'm British and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And my family served.
Well, there we are.
Why did you put it up?
What's wrong with that, Gemma?
So,
There's
if
nothing-
you went to America,
Yeah, I know, they all fly.
if you went to America, could you tell an American person to take down their flag in America?
No, they'd probably shoot you. I mean, that's the problem. Go on.
I'm not telling anyone to take it down. It's a free country.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
However, at the moment,
Hang on,
I
Heather.
personally, Heather, what would override my feelings of pride in the country would be my feelings that I wouldn't want anybody else to feel scared or that I was making an overt statement that they weren't welcome here.
Thank you, Heather. Amanda in the West Midlands, what do you think?
Hi, yes. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm just on Jemma's page here. I've witnessed some horrific racist incidents since the flags went up. A recent incident last week, I went to the shop to collect a parcel and there was a group of school children outside the shop. And the shopkeeper's policy is only 2 school children at once. And there must have been about 12 children, year 7 and 8, from the local comprehensive school, using the W word and the P word and telling the guy to go back to his own country. I spoke to these children and said, that's a criminal offence. Yeah. It's not okay to talk to people like that.
No. Well
and
done.
they gave me a bit of abuse as well. And then I said, I'm phoning the police. And they all started to disperse. And the shopkeeper said, no, please don't. It will make things worse for me.
Oh.
And I said, but you can't be treated like that. The shopkeeper's little boy was with him and he looked at his dad and he said, please don't cry, Daddy, please don't cry.
Oh, mate.
And then the shopkeeper said, things have got worse since the flags went up.
Yeah,
OK, Amanda,
of course.
thank you so much. Thank you.
It does not make me
Thank
feel
you.
patriotic.
After It's the Break, It's the Papers and everything else, including the claims that Peter Mandelson called Jeffrey Epstein his best pal. He's the